The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by HotMovies.com. Try out some ethical, paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret subscriptions when you sign up at HotMovies.com and use the promo code MANWHORE. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to all the Hindu heathens and Buddhist bitches, Jewish gigolos and Catholic cuckolds. Oh, I almost fucked that up.
I forgot my rhymes.
No. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man Whore Podcast.
All you sucker MCs out there, you listening to the Man Whore Podcast, baby.
You get one Beastie Boys group, and then every Jew thinks he can rap. What happened? Okay.
I said my name is Eitan, and I'm here to say, stay in school. That's the way.
That lovely voice is the sounds of my good friend Eitan Levine.
Hey, guys.
Fellow comedian. We just recorded a wonderful bonus episode where we just debriefed our AVN experiences.
It's molto bene.
Yeah, it's very good, very good. All my $10 and up fan whores will hear that tomorrow on Patreon. But for right now, everybody, show dates, people.
Woo!
Get
them hot. Get them dates. Show dates.
I'm probably going to try to cut that so I can just make that the announcement of show dates every episode.
Yeah. Get them hot. Get them dates. Show dates.
It will be my first real consistent drop
Please.
On the show. I don't have any.
The rest of this is just going to be me giving you sound bites. Wacky Wednesday.
All right.
That's what we call spanky time.
And put some reverb or some represent. Spanky time.
Spanky time.
Mornings who?
Listen to Casey in the Butt.
You ever hear Mark?
Fart Zone.
You ever hear Mark Maron's thing about morning radio?
No.
Oh, he just talks about how it's always three people. It's there's a goofy guy, a straight man, and a girl who just goes oh, you guys.
Yeah. That literally is every morning radio show. Mark Maron said it.
Well, everybody, you all know that we got Tour de Man Whore tickets on sale right now.
Yes.
We got pre-sale discounted tickets for just $10.
What?
Yeah.
You're robbing. They're robbing you.
They are?
I messed that up. I made it seem like you're robbing them.
Well, the catch is, and I hope they still know this, is they don't know the date of the show when they buy a ticket.
You buy a ticket. It's ticket and mystery. And
it's a mystery. It's a surprise.
It's a surprise. You're buying a ticket. You don't know when it could be happening right now, and you would have no idea.
I promise everyone will get 6 weeks notice at least of when the show date is. But yes, we have tickets on sale in 20 cities. 14 of the 20 cities are on the board, people.
That's incredible. When you first told me about this idea, I was like, that's interesting. I gave it a 50-50 shot of working, to be completely honest. The fact it's working, all the power to you, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm more surprised the cities that are leading in the ticket totals right now.
Wait, who's leading?
Right now, Detroit.
Oh man, D-Town, the Motor City, home of the Red Wings, baby. Pavel Datsyuk is going. Dominik Hasek is coming out. All the early 2000s Detroit Red Wings, baby. I'm talking Steve Yzerman, baby.
It was fun watching for a moment your face. I could see you trying to pull references.
Yeah.
So Detroit's in first, followed by Miami.
Miami, no hockey team.
No hockey no,
at
no
all.
Hockey team.
Home of the Heat. LeBron James for a little bit. Dwayne Wade's coming out, everybody. Dwayne Wade's going to be hitting up the Man Tour.
Yeah, maybe. That could be fun. Oh, maybe I just get all escorts who have been with I don't know, sports stars.
Yeah, or their managers. As it's Miami, home of all of our grandparents.
Yeah. So we got that, and then behind them we have Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco, and some other places.
2 great hockey towns, 1 great football town.
Wow, you are just really... if there was any fan base, I feel that probably isn't into sports. It's any sex
Literally,
podcast.
it's your fan base.
I have a fantasy football league we do every year, and no matter how much the show grows, the interest for it stays very just enough to do a league.
Okay, well here's what I'll tell you. Okay, if you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan or a Washington Capitals fan, you better show up to the Man Whore podcast to show Billy that sports fans like having listening about sex too, like having to listen about sex too. And those are huge rival cities. So really, Pittsburgh, you better have more people there than Washington, D.C. Sidney Crosby versus Alexander Ovechkin. What's happening?
Well, now that we got like plenty of sports references in there, so when any one city hits 20 tickets sold, we activate that city, we book a show, we book a date, and then we're going to sell full price tickets. But hey, if I don't sell 20 tickets in your town, I ain't coming there. So
then you better friggin' get your friends to take tickets. Get their friends to take tickets. Pay it forward.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey. Nope. Jesus Christ.
I forgot he's in that movie.
For a second, you're like, here's a pay it forward. What's the worst that can happen with that reference? Immediately.
Improvisation, everybody. Hi.
Yes,
so if you want to help make the tour to Manwhore come through your city, go to manwhorepod.com/tour and get your tickets now. The deadline is the end of March, everybody. And we're
coming up.
Coming up. It's going to come up faster than you expect. One more time, manwhorepod.com/tour. But Eitan, we just did a little debrief of AVN.
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to kind of feel? I just got back Monday night. When did you get back?
I got back Monday morning.
And we're recording this on the Saturday. Yeah. So it's like, how long did it take for you to feel normal? Because like for me, it was yesterday.
Yesterday. Last night I think was the first time I got like decent like catch up sleep. So I'm still like a little bit groggy from it like a week later. Although I think the first like 3 days were just like, who am I?
Did that all happen? You know?
Yeah. And, which is crazy because I had shows when I got back and I was like, dear. No, yeah. I'm big in the industry. I don't know if you heard about this.
He plays in bars all over Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I can't shit on him because I wish I was performing at bars all over.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking Nostrand. I'm talking Chauncey. I'm talking Chambers, babe. I was like oblivious during those shows. I was like, so like, what's that? Also like the shock of winning the AVN was still like wafting over me. So those first like 3 or 4 days back were kind of just like, what's happening to me? Where am I?
For me, I had one empty. So Tuesday I was like empty. I didn't have anything I had to do, but like instantly the next day, like I had therapy, I had a podcast.
Jeez.
Thursday was kind of nuts for me. I had like 2 dates in a day. One with the person, I don't know, I'll tell you all about her later.
Yeah.
And then the woman who destroyed my sheets. And then yesterday I had like a pool party with
Monsoon Mandy.
Yeah. And today I'm doing a podcast. Tomorrow is Super Bowl. I don't think I'm having a day to truly reset myself to like Monday, Tuesday. It's like insane.
Yeah, I had that like I think on Friday, I think was my reset day. So I'm like still like, ugh.
Did you do like an emotional check-in at all on yourself?
It honestly, like after the AVNs, and you know, I won the best clever title, brag. It got covered up by New York Post, Jerusalem Post, Allgemeiner, like Daily Beast gave it so we've been getting media.
Sorry, I was way too tired to do one for last minute. I wanted to, but I was like, I'm so tired.
I don't blame you at all. I plus you covered before also when we were like up. It was very nice. If you want to write it, by all means at this point, man. It's wacky.
Yeah.
It kind of took over the week. Plus, I had post production stuff to do on the doc we were filming there, so I had to like check in with the people we needed to check in with to make sure that we were getting to the next step. So I haven't and we were on a 2-week shoot essentially. So Friday was my first let's sit, let's breathe,
for sure,
let's love.
Yeah. What was is there anyone, and so we talked a lot about this like in your bonus episode that comes out tomorrow on Patreon, but was there anyone that you didn't get to meet or talk to that you before you got to Vegas had your heart set on?
Yeah. Okay. There were a couple that we had on our list.
Not just on the list, but like
on the list, but
like you want.
When I say on the list, there was like before we had gotten to the AVNs, we were like, who are people that we want to meet and talk to? Riley Reid was one of them. Riley Reid was one of them. And then there was one other one that was like big who we didn't even talk to on the red carpet. I don't know. Riley Reid was one. Basically, Riley Reid. Let's just go with Riley Reid. Riley Reid we didn't end up meeting at all or talking to at all or getting any FaceTime with. So it was great. Her AVN costume was awesome. She was like a chandelier.
Well, your AVN costume was better because you dressed up like basically as Alexander Hamilton.
I got to walk the red carpet with Sonny Lane, a 2-time AVN winner, as Alexander Hamilton. Sonny Lane is great.
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't remember, you were on the show a little over a year ago because you came up with the title and concept of the Hamilton porn parody, Hamilton.
That's right.
And then you fucking won.
Man,
that was fun to share with you.
You were right there when we found out. Also, I think you're literally in the shot. Like you were next to me.
Because they left me with you because no one was in the ceremony. You were not allowed.
We couldn't film in the studio in where they were
in the
shooting,
theater where the thing was because Showtime cock blocked that.
I don't want to ruffle feathers, but I understand why they wouldn't want to have our own crew there. Sure. However, Showtime was very it was their thing. They paid for it.
Fine. But to get your reaction shot, I was like, well, then we have to basically your producer was watching like a phone, waiting for it to be announced, but then was also going to not tell you.
So what we did, we wanted to film me finding out. So the way that we set it up was that we had somebody in the room, and that person was updating my producer. So when my producer found out, he was like, okay, we know. Let's set up the shot. We sat. It was me, you, and Lisa Traeger was there, sitting next to you, and she was like, "I'm going to text you one word, and then you're gonna just look over at your phone, and then it will say if you had won or not." And then the longest 30 seconds of just waiting for everything to be set. And it said one, and we won, and we lost our crap. I flipped my phone and it said one. It was nuts. It was the craziest. It's the craziest story. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's I don't know how to top that. That's crazy.
So yeah, I don't know how you top that either.
It's an AVN. I won an AVN award for the Hamilton porn. That's
when you're not supposed to, as in the sense of you're a comedian, you're not in porn.
I don't work in porn. I came from a pretty we talked about. I came from a pretty religious background. I don't work in porn. This is not my industry. But I'm happy that I was able to experience this industry through this kind of way. Yeah. It's been awesome.
And I think it's episode 197. If y'all want to go back and hear a little bit more about his background with he's raised Orthodox Jewish and all that jazz. You can go check that out. That's a good episode. Yeah. But yeah, dude, it was fucking just wonky. It was also wonky because we were 50 feet from the fucking theater.
From the AVN
we were in this little bar right there. But we knew we had to watch from there.
And then it was a little bit surreal also because we were walking away from finding out that I'd won. We were running into other porn stars who we interacted with throughout the week, and a bunch of them remembered me, and I was like, we won, and they were like, oh, congratulations, man, that's awesome. So I felt like Forrest Gump, you know what I mean? I just felt like the Forrest Gump of porn for a night, and it's undescribable.
That's dope. Man.
I went on this crazy journey.
And let me give you a question many people in a hack fashion give to the porn stars.
Yeah.
How's your mother feel about it?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. At first, I want to say that good way to summarize that question because I feel like so many porn people have that question asked at them.
Lisa Traeger in her episode that came out, I guess at this point a couple weeks ago, she said that's not a natural question. What other industry is that okay to ask someone?
Yeah, it's you're being shitty. Yeah, exactly. It's them being your family hates you, correct? Yes.
Yeah, basically.
You can't talk to grandma in front of the rest of the kids anymore. It's and if there's one thing. Porn stars are freaking people. They're the nicest people on the planet, and the footage we got, I think, was great. The interviews we got with them were great because we fucking treated them. We weren't asking them about their butts or anything. We were what's the funniest reaction we can get out of them with these questions and let them be funny. So we just let them be funny. So yes. So that's my answer to the way that you framed your question. And then my answer is my mom, she is very happy this is over.
But it's not over because you still have to edit and put the doc out. Oh man,
she's very happy that there's no more updates. I've been very clear with them. She's come around a little bit. She thought the costumes were hilarious and awesome.
I think maybe she was worried you were gonna just walk down the red carpet in fetish gear or something.
Yeah,
I think that's more the fear.
Yeah, there was definitely a fear that I would embarrass myself more than.
Not there's anything wrong with dressing in fetish garb.
Exactly. Joanna Angel was in fetish stuff and she looked awesome. Joanna Angel, by the way, was kind of interesting because I almost got expelled from Yeshiva University because of her.
Oh right,
we interviewed her on YU Radio, and then the first time I'd seen her since then was at the red carpet.
Hilarious.
And there was a nice little moment of meeting.
Well, I'm glad that your mom's not devastated anymore, and that you won, and that big things are coming through, and
thank you.
And it's gonna be dope, dude. Do you want? I want to take, since we're talking about porn, I just feel like it's a good time to mention, friend of the pod, big time sponsor. We love them. I hope you're using them. You better have signed up for a free trial at this point. Hotmovies.com.
Hot.
Flaming hot.
Ay. Caliente movies. Hotter than your sister.
That's
what?
Really? What?
Hotmovies.com, way hotter than Billy's sister. You got to check it out.
I don't know about that. Why am I defending the hotness of my sister?
You got to check out Billy's sister. And then figure out how hot you think she is. Then go to hotmovies.com, way hotter.
Oh, God.
This is the worst in promo.
So, hotmovies.com, I actually met them at AVN, but they wanted me to tell you we got an exclusive release right now. They have released Unfolding.
Oh man, it's the Marie Kondo porn parody.
It's I didn't even realize it's starring Sherry DeVille, who won best film MILF performer of the year.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, she's great.
Seth Gamble's pretty big, also, right?
Yeah. So it's about like some couple who like discover swinging and all that cutesy stuff.
Swing from the table, my heart. It's that song. It's All American Rejects, the porn.
See. It's great talking about porn with someone who's like just soul is a virgin.
Yeah,
like I know you're not a virgin, but anymore, but like your soul kind of feels like it.
I'll argue that's accurate.
You'll make a swing reference.
I swear to God, at one point on the red carpet, I was just asking porn stars what we were Netflixing. Like I talked with Marcus Dupree about you for like 3 minutes.
Thank you.
I know. Billy Procida himself.
What did you say?
We just were talking about how, shut up, Billy, we're talking about the show Netflix. It's you.
Well,
yeah. You should watch You, by the way. I don't know if you're watching You on Netflix.
Oh, the show You. I thought you meant me.
No. I was talking. I talked Game of Thrones with a lot of them, with a lot of porn stars also.
Does that not just show you though where my ego's at? Yeah. Where I'm like, oh, you're talking about me.
Like we're talking about You on Netflix, and Billy's like, I'm not even on Netflix, but that must be me.
I will pause the paid ad read just to like hear a compliment.
Wow. Billy Procida, all about that money.
You know it. And hotmovies.com is all about the money, yet for my listeners,
yes.
It's almost as if they don't care. It's as if they're like, no, please, here, have some free minutes.
What?
They will give you 20 bonus minutes on top of any package you sign up for when you go to hotmovies.com, use promo code
legally.
Manhole.
That's robbery.
Yeah.
That's legal robbery.
Do you know the payment model? Like the
not even a little bit.
Do you know any? Okay, Hot Movies. This is actually where I think that some of the future of porn goes. It's a pay per minute porn site.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you buy minutes. See how it says 96 minutes remaining?
Oh.
So you buy a cluster of minutes, 300 minutes for $30 or like 1,000 minutes, whatever. You can also do a free trial, which with my code turns into a 40-minute free trial. And the idea is like when you're watching a porn, if it's an hour, you're not watching all 62 minutes, right?
No.
Yeah, let's say you watch like 11 minutes if it was a good day, and it'll only take 11 minutes out of your time bank.
A lot of times there's not enough time to like get the whole background on why they're there.
But see, I need that, and that's why I like this. Yeah, if I want just like, you can also rent the movie outright if you want like save minutes. But the idea is that like, it gives you access to all these different studios, all these stars, all these fetishes. Whatever you want is on there.
I will say that usually you can figure out like what a porn's about. Unfolding, I don't know. I'm reading the description now.
But the idea is just like it's I think a more affordable way for someone who wants like broad spectrum porn options. Yeah. Like if you want Brazzers, if you want
Bella Danger's in it.
Bella Danger's in there.
Saw her on the red carpet.
Who follows me on Twitter, and I don't know why because we've never interacted.
Oh, well,
she just like followed me one day. I was like, what's this about?
Just that Neil Brennan moment, like, all right.
Here
we go.
Yeah. So I think it's a more affordable way to watch porn when you just kind of want access to a lot of stuff, and rather than managing like 5-6 different memberships. This one doesn't have any like secret fees or like recurring subscriptions. No, you just buy your minutes, you pick your video, it subtracts your minutes from it, and that's
Bing,
it.
Bang, boom.
Yeah,
have it your way.
I genuinely think that's a way. It's and they license it from these studios, so the money gets trickled down in the way that it should. So go to hotmovies.com, use promo code MANWHORE. That lets them know that you found them through me, and you get some extra minutes for it.
Nice.
Eitan, where can people follow you if they want to stay updated about the documentary, or if they just want to enjoy your very your random sports references?
Okay, you can check me out at sportsman.edu. No, Eitan the Goalie, EITANTHEGOALIE is my Twitter and my Instagram. And remember, we got that campaign, so donate to the campaign. It's on my Twitter.
Fantastic, dude. Why don't you go and say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody.
That was Eitan, everybody. Please go check him out. And now it's time for the fan horror appreciation moment. All right. Go ahead and hit those skip 15-second forward buttons a few times if you're one of those. But this is the part of the podcast where I like to thank a few of the members of my fan horror community on Patreon. Patreon is, of course, a fantastic way to both support this podcast and gain access to a wonderful sex-positive community of fantastic fan horrors. Right now, I want to give a shout-out to the Front Porch Swingers. That is a swinger podcast I was actually on not too long ago. And I may or may not have had some fun at AVN with one of the co-hosts, Brenna. So shout out to you, girl, and shout out to you and your show. Thanks for supporting the Man Whore Podcast. Shout out to Keenan. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the support. Don't know much about you, but if this is secretly Keenan Thompson, it's like you can keep your $1 a month if you can just like help me get into some meetings. Like, you know, walk me into 30 Rock. I'll sell for like just a really good seat at SNL. I don't know. Keenan, call me. And I want to give a big thank you to Hannah, who's just, this total hottie from Australia. Let's just say that the Peep Show was really pleased when she joined us. I enjoyed our chit chat the other day. So shout out to you. Thanks for supporting the pod. And you too can become a member of our fan horror community for as little as $1 per month. Get access to sex-positive discussion groups and exclusive bonus episodes of the Man Whore Podcast, including my episode with Eitan Levine, when you sign up at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And now for this week's guest, Nicolette. Nicolette is someone who actually I started talking to during like the infancy of this show, in the early days of this podcast, when I was just a wee baby 25-year-old podcaster. We had a very long journey of getting together, from the first Tinder match to the dates to the finally fucking to the just being friends and me being confused stage. But this might be like one of the ultimate "why won't you fuck me anymore" episodes. I did my best not to whine. Let's go back and figure out what the hell happened with Nicolette. Can't let his picture see it either. Yeah. Hey, look, I don't want your father looking at my bald spot either. So that's a good move for me as well.
Thinking about him like, no, I don't want to. I've had to turn that around a few times where I felt horrible. I'm like, oh, no.
It's like only particular sex acts. Like he can watch me get railed, but like he can't watch anal.
When there's like 5 people in here, I'm like, oh, and we're just doing this. We're just turning around.
And I think most importantly, like, do you have any questions for me before we start?
I don't have any questions for you. What's it called? Are you turned on right now?
No, I mean, not yet. I mean, I kind of hope so.
I was kidding. That was the
point.
best part. Yeah, I love how you were like, oh, no.
I mean, look, I am
How
always...
long have you been doing? Are you passionate about your work? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes people have questions about like what we're doing or why we're doing things or whatever.
I guess so.
But,
wait, everyone that you, or is everyone
most of the time it's no, but yeah.
Got it. So it's everyone that you are. Most of the time it's no. Everyone that is on this. It says people you've slept with, or because
it's anyone I've hooked up with in some capacity, and then I mean that's the premise of the show. It's since evolved to like it's still a lot of past partners, but also I have on like various sex educators, porn stars, sex workers, queer performers, comedians.
Cool. Got it.
Like today was Lisa Traeger, who like I met for the first time at AVN, but you're here in the capacity of like someone who's been part of. At a couple different moments in time, my sexual dating history.
Yeah.
So that's the context of you being here.
Cool.
And sometimes we touch upon it, sometimes we don't. It just kind of depends where the chat takes us.
Groovy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, it's certainly.
Let's ride this rainbow, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do. I mean, if I am cutting straight to chase, I do feel like you're one of like a slowly shrinking list of people who I think matter. What? In the context of my sex dating life.
No
that
shit, really?
I would like to speak to. Yeah, you were not just like a fling where it's like, oh, but
No.
like we didn't like make out once after a date for like 10 seconds on the street and that was it.
No.
I'm slowly starting to want to not have those women on unless they have some sort of significance.
Got it. Right on.
Because
I remember, we met on. Oh, do you need to start this, or we can? Just
we're on. Yeah.
Oh, we
we're
are.
on.
Oh, I thought you meant like,
I
hey,
find
everybody, this is Billy. No, then you're like,
I find some sort of like, hacky fade in point, like,
Oh,
we recording? It's like, yeah. Totally.
good. No, I was one. I didn't know if I was getting ahead of myself. So you and I met on. It was Tinder. Got it. Okay, because I was rocking two of those at the
with
time.
your ballerina pictures or whatever, or dancing something.
Wait.
One of your earliest text messages to me is like a video of you like doing some like dance moves from your dance past.
No shit, really? Like swing dancing or ballerina dancing? Please show me. Yeah, ballerina, swing dancing, like sex dance. What? I'm very interested.
Well, what's nice here's what I love about the iPhone. If I may plug Apple because they really could use the press, is that whole like oh wow, yeah. So you hit that I button in a chat history, right?
Yeah.
I pull up any media between us,
yeah.
Right? So from the beginning, like this dates back to like my like third hacienda where I'm in my fucking
remember. Yeah, totally.
Whatever. So that's old you.
Whoa, you need to send me these.
Looking, not this is back when I was teased with the prospect of sex with you.
Jesus.
And then there's this video.
Oh, the ballerina. Yes, my point shoes. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh my God, you need to send this to me again.
Yeah. And you're just so like you sent me some sexy photos and then I get a video and I'm like, oh, I got a video, but it's just you doing ballerina moves.
That's very mean. That is all. Oh, keep going. What
and
else
then we got like me with Paige. We got you at football thing, and then some just.
Ooh,
there was also a lot of you sending me sexual nudes, but also not sleeping with me.
But also, none of them were fully naked. There's no frontal.
Sexy,
on any. They were sexy
photos.
Yes, for the record, I was in lingerie in these photos, or I was very artistically photographed.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah.
So, but the Tinder, that was we first matched while I was on the bus to my day job at the time. I have a very distinct memory I have a very distinct memory of matching with you.
Actually, it's funny. I have a very distinct memory of matching with you because there used to be a little chair. So when I lived with my previous my boyfriend of like 3 years ago, but we've been friends for over a decade. There was a little chair in that side room, and I would go and at the very end of like 2015 is that we met? When we
that sounds about right.
Like 2015, yeah, like 2015, right. I think. Then go in there and just sit and chat. I remember sitting there, and chatting with you and just being like, yeah, man, like you're in the same scene. And like, it was so new to me because at the time me and that gentleman had just broken up. Mm-hmm. And I was looking to, explore and break out of my zone, and become more like sexual and explore. I don't know. I just felt super comfortable with you. And I was like, hey man, let's hang out. We wanted to do something. We can get a chance.
I was a sprite young 25 years old.
Jesus. Yeah. God. I'm 34 now. I'll be 35 this year. Yeah. So anyway, totally, man. And then, when did we first connect at the party?
No, we went on like a couple like dates. We went out for like drinks. We talked.
I do remember.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
You were with that weird like Eastern European dude who like tied you up, but you weren't sure what it was gonna be.
Oh, yes, that gentleman. Totally fine. Let's call him Hugo or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember him. Yeah, totally. God, I will say, I was actually just talking about him the other day. I said that I totally credit him for getting me out of my sexual funk and introducing me to like a more kinky relationship. Unfortunately, though, he only wanted monogamy and he wouldn't even allow me to be with other women. So for 10 months, I was completely monogamous with him, but I couldn't even talk about having sex with other women while he and I were having sex. That's how against bringing in other people purely sexually. Against it he was. And his thing was, if you really loved me, then, you wouldn't want to share with anyone else. And I'm like, but Hugo, I'm fucking bisexual. Like, I can't help it, man. Like, I can't turn that shit off. And, so in October of 2015, we broke up. And I will say again, like I was monogamous and I was, committed to you the entire time. But, yeah. So like, but I just couldn't I couldn't even bring friends that had like open-minded sexual views around him because he was so Eastern European. And like, but the thing that attracted me about him was very alpha, very my woman, And
you tell me this this is like on the date. And I think this was either.
That's what it was.
So there was that chatting, and I don't think we actually met until after y'all had the breakup, or maybe about to.
Yeah.
But like you're talking about like alpha, and I'm sitting there, be like, I mean, like I can, I can take charge in bed, but like, cause mega beta here.
I totally remember that, and then I totally remember I was like, I think I also like paid for like all of our drinks, or like, weren't you like be my sugar mama?
Not for nothing, you made way more money than I did.
I remember that. You were like, you just be my sugar mama, and I was like, yeah, dude. And I took us to this like really cool underground cocktail place.
Yep, that was a good one.
Totally. And God, I forgot that. I do remember talking to you about him because I was excited to meet you because I was just starting to, again, coming out of a relationship that was new for me, monogamous and dominating. And I had never had a monogamous dominating relationship before in my life.
Yeah. Well, what would you normally have?
Well, with the gentleman that I was just breaking up with in 2014, and we were in the burner scene for like
This is the one who lived with you, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
absolutely,
he didn't seem very alpha either.
No, not at all.
He and I look like we could like help you water boys at an orgy together.
We'll call him JP. JP water boys at an orgy. JP, like not at all alpha, but one of my best friends in the world because we went through this whole sexual discovery together. And the last like 2 years, 3 years, we were like having like we're swingers, and it fit for me. It totally fit, and it didn't fit for him though. And you can't make someone do something they don't want to do, especially sexually. So it totally worked for me. So we broke up, and then I dated Hugo, that was not at all a swinger. Didn't even want me to be with women, but was dominant as fuck. Right. And I've never dated anyone monogamously that was dominant as fuck. So what I took from that is that I needed dominance, but I was not monogamous. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so I remember hanging out with you and fucking just talking about like all that shit about like, man, I'm getting into this, and like you just being like, cool, well, I'm into this, and yeah. Sorry.
Do you have any recollection of your initial like attraction, not attraction to me? Because we had the matching stuff.
Yeah.
But then you started dating Hugo, so that was gone. Then that breaks up. So then it's like, okay, let's try that again.
Yes.
And we meet, and then like, do you have any recollection
of? I remember meeting you in that bar where like we had like beers and stuff like that. Like it was like we were sitting at a wooden table or something like that. No, do you remember? That's where the bar that we met?
No, that's right.
Oh yeah, of course I was attracted to you.
I don't know if it's of course. I think anyone who sleeps with me is making a mistake.
Well, what's funny is that I totally forgot that you and I had sex until you were like, no, Amy, we totally did. And I was like, wait, did we?
Oh, you talking about
me and you?
Like when I hit you up about this,
no,
that we had sex, or then? Because back then we hadn't had sex.
No, as in I mean like 2 months ago. I was Billy and I never had sex, and you're like, Amy, yeah, we did.
I'm like,
I was like,
oh,
what?
we had like.
I don't remember.
And it's like we had great sex. Like it was sex I went home and was like elated about, and you're just like, wait, what? That happened?
Yeah, that's what it was. That was maybe like, oh shit, because I think. I think we just exemplified the male-female sexual experiences. Huh? Oh my god, that was awesome. What? I don't even remember. No, I was like, because I think it was like 4 years ago or 5 years ago.
Do you need help with a timeline?
Yeah. Wait. What year is this? 2019.
Okay, so matching
3 years.
And this is only because I have some sort of freakish dating memory. I swear.
Okay.
I'm not like weird.
Or was it 2014? I'm just trying to remember by people that I dated.
We matched in early 2015. It was like February.
Yeah.
Then you date Hugo.
Yeah.
We went out like right shortly after that, or towards the end of that. Went on a few dates. I think we made out maybe. Then we didn't. Then there was just nothing until 26. It was Effie Blue and Beth's joint birthday party. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so that's in November.
At the OG Hacienda House. So that would have been 2016, I think.
Yeah, 2016 November. Yeah.
And I remember because I was invited to that party and my girlfriend at the time was not.
Oh, got it.
And that was like a not happy point for her, apparently.
Oh, I see. Got it.
I did not realize she was not pleased with that.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, no, and that was like possibly my most sex party,
Was that the birthday cake night?
That was the birthday cake.
Yeah, woo! All right.
I ate birthday cake off your pussy.
Yep.
That and that basically I saw that as my only in to you for some reason. Like we were just like standing around, and I think I made mention that we had never had sex. And then there was birthday cake, and someone, I think it was you, proposed like, want to eat birthday cake off my pussy. And I said like, are you serious? And you're like, sure. And I said, if this is the only time I get to be sexual with this is the only time I get to be sexual with Nicolette, then like, fine. And so we grabbed a slice of cake, and then there was like some separation. So I thought maybe this won't happen, but we circled back around, and it was like real. So like we grabbed that cake, we ran downstairs, I put it like right on top of your mouth, and like I ate your pussy with cake on it. And I was very, very happy. The fat kid in me was thrilled. The part of me that's wanted to have sex with you for forever was like, I'll take this.
Yeah, I remember. I will never forget. You're like, I don't think this is like, it's like sanitary. I'm like, I don't care.
Do it.
Like, just in there. It's like, get some icing. No, go back to my cunt.
Mm-hmm.
Eat some more icing. Back to my lips.
Mm-hmm. But then we ended up in Beth's that side bedroom on the first floor.
Yeah.
And we had like, again... In my memory, really, really great sex.
So I remember that. Like, I remember it was in the back bedroom. I remember we were on this side of the bed. We were on that side. I remember. I just don't remember how good it was because I just didn't remember.
Sure. So we had sex a couple times, and then
that night.
Yeah. Like in that one session on that bed. Because I think there was part of me that knew like this may never happen again. And I'm going to try to fuck her as many times until she changes her mind. So yeah, we fucked a couple times. And then this is the part that was mixed messages for me.
Got it.
I don't want to turn this into the why don't you fuck me podcast, but it's kind of the why don't you fuck me anymore podcast.
Okay.
You were like very explicit, like, oh wow, like can't believe we didn't do that before. We should do that again. And you were like, you were very vocal about we should do this some more.
Yes.
And so like I left that party. This is so embarrassing. I left that party like, oh yeah, like Nicolette and I are like gonna be doing some things. And like she's happy about it. Like we're not gonna do things because she's just bored. We're gonna do things because she's like, that was good. And then we just, for some reason or another, like anytime I reached out, just like either you were out of town or you were busy, and then there was the boyfriend, but
Egyptian boyfriend.
When did that happen?
December 2016, going.
So then, right, like that, just shortly after.
Yeah,
fuck.
We dated for what's it called? He and I dated January 2016 to June 2016 because we broke up during Ramadan. He's still one of my really good friends, but the craziest sex I had with him was we called it Ramadan sex because he gives up drinking, drugs, sex, drinking off for Ramadan. So he banged the fuck out of me in every single whole way possible, right like the day before Ramadan, and it was like the best sex I had ever had in my life.
Did you make it through Ramadan, the relationship?
No, he broke up with me like on my birthday, like 3 weeks later. But the reason why is because we knew we were never going to get married, and he and I are still incredibly good friends to this day, and we would go to hacienda parties and hang out. It's because we knew we're never going to get married, and my mom was in town. And even though my mom was in town and my friends, all meet my mom, in his like culture, meeting the parents is a big thing. And he's like, Nicolette, I adore you, but like I can't meet your mom because in my culture, I'm like, you know what? No problem. He's like, so I think maybe this may be the it. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no worries. And we went to another hacienda party together and had a blast. And when he went home to Cairo, he brought my mother and I back a bunch of cool stuff. But anyway, yeah, long story short, we just didn't.
Well, it's a full podcast. You can do the long story of a long story.
Sorry,
you can even do the medium story of a long story. You don't have to cut them short.
But what's cool about him is that he and I explored together. So his, they say a season, a reason, a lifetime, or whatever of why you like date people, is that he was the first. So there was Hugo there was JP that dated we through the scene, and the last 2 years we became swingers, and then JP and I, who are now still really good friends, broke up.
But did you all become swingers because like you wanted to become swingers? Did you want to become swingers because you didn't think you were actually sexually compatible with him, but you wanted to stay with him and get sex that you enjoyed?
It was just exploring together. I was the more, in the sense of I was the one that's like the aggressor, and I'd be like, hey, like, what do you think about this, babe? And he's like, that sounds cool. So we would do it, but I was the one that was always making the plans and being more into it. And then after like a year of doing it, I was like, all right, darling, what do you think? And he's like, it's not really my thing. I was like, fuck. So we broke up at the end of that year.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then there was that. So that was JP was the introduction. Hugo was my introduction to being dominated, but it was a monogamous relationship. So that one didn't work. And then I met this Welsh gentleman who he and I are incredibly good friends still to this day. His reason, we'll call him Michael, was, he encouraged me to be my kinky sexual swinger self, but he was coming out of a marriage, out of divorce, so he couldn't come to the parties with me. And then the last gentleman was saying, we'll call Muhammad from Egypt. He was a solidifier because he could actually come to the parties with me, solidify that I was kinky, and was also a swinger. And so that was his like role. So,
but y'all broke up because you weren't going to get married?
Because he's Muslim, and I was like, well, I'm never going to convert, to Islam. Like, nope, so I'm good. So we just had
but how important is your am I saying this right? Islamic religion? If you're Muslim, you practice Islam, correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm very, very white and just dumb.
So that's the thing.
But like, how important is that religion to you? Where you're like, oh, I'll go to the swinger parties, but like, I need a Muslim woman to marry. Like,
well, because he always wanted to experiment and try these things, and he had just come over from Cairo about maybe 4 years prior. We were on the same age, so like early 30s. And but you can't really do that, over there. So this is like on the hush hush, and so he was always into it, always curious. And then when we met, like 2 months after you and I slept together, he was like show me, explore. And then I started taking him to hacienda parties. And then so we explored together monogamously or, swinger like, kinky. So he had all like, as I kept dating, I just found more gentlemen that was like bing, 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 bing. So he could go to the parties. He was kinky. We were swingers, and he encouraged it. I was like, yes. But, we knew we'd never get married. So it's like, fuck. Okay. So luckily with the gentleman I'm dating now, like never married, no kids, monogamous, swinger, like kinky.
He's not monogamous, or he's monogamous?
He's not, yeah. Like we are monogamous. We don't. Yeah, we're total swingers. We're not open at all, any way, shape, or form.
Well, when you're swinging, that is a form of non-monogamy.
Oh yeah, sorry. I meant like
rules.
I meant like emotionally, like I'm not.
You're not poly, and you guys don't go off and like do stuff separately.
No, like how thing we do, like I guess we're
basically anything where like you have sex with anyone other than your partner, you're automatically non-monogamous. Just a matter of like what brand of non-monogamy you are.
I see. Got it. See, I'm not hip. I'm so white. I'm not hip.
Look, it's just it's just more like, hey, if you're monogamous, you're monogamous. Yeah. But if you like, if it's like, oh, we swing, then like, got it. You're not monogamous. It's just you play together, or whatever the rules are.
Yeah. So the rules are is that since he travels for work, so he doesn't do anything on the road because no need to anymore. Because when he's back in LA where he lives, and I'm here in New York, we get together with our different group of friends and our like other couples. So, but if he was in LA without me and he was home, and there was a couple that we had slept with before that he wanted to sleep with, then I was like, yeah, rock it out. Like, Barbie's super hot. Like, Barbie and her husband that we slept with, like, go for it. Like, unicorn it.
So he can bang people y'all have already banged together originally.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And then same thing with me. So yeah, if we sleep with like...
So first I need to... this is all really just a way to find out. It's like, how do I get to sleep with Nicolette again? So I need to go find another woman. Then I have to wait for him to be in town. Then I have to convince you to do that. Then he leaves, and then maybe with her, still with her.
Still with her.
I have to invite you in.
True. Yep.
And even then you might put me in the corner. I'm just trying to find out.
That's true.
I'm very open-minded to being naked with you again.
There's 5 steps you have to complete.
I will jump through various hoops. You're very fun and hot.
That's so true. That's the thing. There's, oh my God, now I think about it, it's like, oh my God. But no, it's just what it is that it like gets rid of any sort of jealousy or anxiety or what's it called, like, intimidation at all. Like, there's none of it, because and he's actually too, and both he and I were honest with each other. I was like, I've cheated on every boyfriend I had, but not in this like. I was like, I've cheated on every boyfriend I had, and I've never cheated with him. And he's like, same thing too. He's like, I've cheated on every girlfriend that I had, but never with you. And except for, sorry, Hugo. Okay. But at the same time, we broke up because I couldn't be, who I wanted to be, that kind of stuff, And what's it called? So yeah, so or should I say, like, there was no true monogamy because, like, it was just different with him. So yeah, so I can be with women out here, and I can be. It's not like he allows me. I just don't want to be with men without him because it's not the same. He asked me today, actually. He goes, what do you really like? What do you love about swinging? Because he was talking to his friend about it. And I was like, well, like, I just love seeing you fuck women. Like, and he was like, nice.
Sick, bro.
Sick, bro.
Did y'all fist bump after that?
High five, yeah. Fuck
dorks?
yeah, you know me. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. And
that was the other thing that was always weird is like after the multiple times of perceived interest from you and then nothing. Or like disappearance or whatever, but we would see each other at parties and you'd be like, yo, bro. And I'd be like,
man.
It's like, wait, I'm so confused.
I know.
I just need some clarity so I can like temper my expectations here.
I'm like, come on, man, let's do this. You want to you want to wrestle? I'll wrestle with you.
I'll be like, oh, is that like code for fuck? You'd be like, no, I just want to wrestle. I'll be like,
That's so true.
Okay, I'm sad. You mentioned the sexual discovery with JP a few times. So and he was interesting just because I could have sworn there was like part of the drop off was that like y'all were clearly best friends, but the sex was
it was
your
nothing.
Best
it was
situation.
It was not there. We just stopped sleeping together.
How long had y'all been together in some capacity?
7 years.
7 years, right? I remember it was super long.
Yeah,
and why was it? Why do you consider it a sexual exploration together? Like
because we met all of our cool like hacienda burner poly friends together, and then we went to Burning Man together with all of our friends. We explored at different parties with all of our friends.
He was kind of like your first guy after college, right?
Totally, like kind of like like not he wasn't really, but yes,
but
in the explanation form, yeah.
Yeah, and so wait, what were you not doing, or what were you doing sexually? Were you like inhibited? Like, why did you feel the need to have an exploration in the first place?
I've always been a very sexual person, and so I've always been a very sexual person. So whenever I started hanging out with very sexual, like-minded people, it resonated for me, but it didn't resonate for him. But it resonated for him when we would go and like take Molly and jump around and dance. Of course, it resonates for everybody. But then after after about a year of doing that, like 2 years of doing it, I was like, yo, I don't need to take Molly anymore to fucking get weird. Like, I think I want to get weird on a Wednesday after like broccoli and chicken, and he was like, I don't know. He's like, I gotta like, I only feel as comfortable as you whenever we're like out partying. For him, it was more like, home is where the heart is. Mm-hmm. So we never brought anyone back here, like when we like were to do stuff ever. And I was ready for that after hanging out with people like-minded people like ourselves. And I was so ready to like make it a part of my life rather than just do it when I'm on drugs and like in a warehouse.
Well, when did y'all's sex life start to kind of drop off? Because you seem to have stayed together a good chunk of time after that.
Yeah.
And that's why you two together was like interesting to me.
Yeah, we still lived together and we still slept in the same bed together at times because he would move into the other room, and like if there was people staying like over, but at the same time we haven't had sex for like years. So like that was the part we could live together. That's why I know why people say marry your best friend, because we stopped having sex but we can hang out and do anything together. But like that's the only bummer is that like fuck dude. So anyway, it started dying off maybe like 4 or 5 years like into it, right whenever we started hanging out with our open-minded friends, and I was like, this is me, I can totally do this, I want this. And he was like, nah. Like he loved the art and the music and the friendship, but the sex thing was just not him. And I was just like, the sex thing is me too. And he's like, it's just not me. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, if we get married, I'm going to cheat on you because I need this and I need ladies and I need that. And he's like, I can't.
Were you less attracted to him?
No, I was still attracted to him. I was just less attracted to the fact that I communicate with him the kind of sexual person that I was, and he just told me like, I'm just not. And I was like, damn it. So it was hard because I would send him articles about positions I wanted to try. I wanted to, I would say, book us, rope tying sessions and all that kind of stuff. And he'd cancel and be like, no, I'm not really into that. And I'm like, okay, fuck. But, I couldn't blame him for trying. But just when I came to him and say, hey, like, I think I really do want to, explore being a swinger and going on dates with other couples and, being with women. He was just like, not my cup of tea, babe. And I was like, fuck. Okay. But so that's why we stayed good friends. It was just purely sexual. And so we stopped sleeping together for like the last, I was having more sex at sex parties and events than I was in my own relationship. And that's when I was like, God damn it. I'm like, shit, this is like totally going south. And it was a slow like fizzle. But yeah, and then we lived together and stayed together, or lived together for like 2 years, like 2 years after we broke up. Yeah, because it wasn't a threat, because we weren't having sex and we weren't in the same bed And I didn't bring people home and go crazy because I didn't feel that comfortable in those relationships yet. And when I did, he wasn't here anyway. And when I did and he was here, it didn't matter at all because he wasn't into any of the stuff that I was into, you know? People would be like, that'd be weird. Your ex-boyfriend's in there. And I'm like, no, we broke up 2 years ago and we broke up because he doesn't like this, you know? Like, and this is why we're in my bedroom right now.
Yeah, she's motioning to her crotch.
Yeah. So that was it. Yeah. Like,
did he lose attraction or anything like that?
No, he totally he totally was like, he was just so bummed that like that was what broke us up. I'm like, honey, sexuality is a really big thing to me. I've realized. I really realized that I'm not the majority. And he was like, I got it. Word, you know? So that was it. That's why we were still friends.
Huh. Did you realize you were bi after college when you were doing all this exploration, or was that something you always knew?
Always knew. Totally always knew. I was like the young pervy one, you know? That I was like always a young pervy one with my girlfriends. When I'd be like, come on, like, let's compare sizes. Like, come on.
You were the one that like moms were like, well, you can't go to Nicolette's house.
Yeah. They'd be like, oh, Nicolette's coming over. But the thing is though, is that I did very well in school and I was a conductor of my high school band and, you know, VP playing powder puff football and shit like that. I just knew I was very sexual, but I was always, as you know, like, quaint and almost a prude in some sorts because I'm very sexual, but I'm just not like promiscuous. So that's my thing. Like that's why sometimes that's why I knew the swinger thing was for me.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
Very sexual, but
not at all promiscuous.
Lots of sex, but it's not like spread around all these like random Tinder dudes.
Nope, not at all. And that's the thing. And I'm so it says, you know, like traditional in the sense where getting married, taking my husband's name, blah, blah, blah. But man, like when like I am this raging sex fiend that is like, bring out the whips and the toys, bring out the sex slave. I'm going to fuck all of her holes, you know, but I'm like, honey, you know, like we got to grab the children. Like, but it's just this, I enjoy the emotional togetherness of being in a couple of, you know, being sexual. Because when actually the first time, we'll call this last gentleman I'm dating Gaston.
The current one or the one before?
The current one.
Okay.
The current one, Gaston.
Yeah, that works for him. He's got a big neck.
Yeah,
he's very strong.
He does.
Yeah.
Tall, handsome.
Makes you feel ugly when you're next to him. Yeah, that guy. That's cool. The guy who like gave me an eating disorder on New Year's Eve. No big deal. It's totally fine.
Oh my god.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, so it's to say Gaston. So what I introduced him to, all of this stuff is completely new to him.
Really?
In the structure sense.
Right. That New Year's Eve was his first party, right?
Yeah, well, it was the first party here in New York. We went to one in LA, but no, it was his first, it was his first one.
Yeah, but if you've never been to a Hacienda, then you haven't even been
we haven't been
to a party.
That's correct.
Like, that's the thing. That's what's so awesome about Hacienda is like, it's just like, it doesn't even fucking go. Like, I got so spoiled that it was my first party.
Yeah.
Because anything else I'd been to, it was just like, it's not Hacienda.
I know exactly, and that's what it was. The one we went to, the one in L.A., it was or Huntington Beach.
Was it just swingers?
No, it was
like a couples party. Or?
What was cool about the one in Huntington Beach is that there's a group of friends that I found through my work when I had temporarily relocated. And there's a group of friends that are the same exact, mindset people like all of us, but they are really into, like video games and, like anime and comic books and Dungeons and Dragons, just like Gaston, which is funny. And so I'm having all this great sex, or he and I are having all this great sex with all these really cool, like California nerds. And then we come here to New York and I was like, Gaston, check out this party. And I was like, here in New York. And I was like, you've got every single like color, orientation under the sun. I'm like, check this amazing like spread of, like in contrast of people. And his eyes were like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, man. But the thing is he possessed all of these sexuality not skills, but like traits, but has never met anyone like me to be like, here is a structured world of it. Mm-hmm. And so, so that's the difference.
Did y'all debrief the New Year's Eve party at some point?
Yeah. So we what we did. I mean, who we
did you all debrief like? Hey babe, what was that like for you?
Oh, totally.
You've never been,
I wrote, so actually that was the first, so perfect. So thank you for bringing that up. That was the first time that he and I were with a couple.
Yeah, I got to watch. I was 5 feet away.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot. Yes.
Well, here's the weird thing about it. I'll go first because I spoke to her about it afterwards.
Yeah.
So it was 5 of us talking, you were all over her.
Yeah.
Like comically, like, okay, girl, settle down. Like all over her.
Pardon.
And then her husband and I, what's up, dude? We're just kind of watching you practically
Maul
molest
her?
his wife.
Yeah, say maul
pretty
her.
much just like almost uncomfortable, like white, like acting like white girl wasted, but I know you weren't even wasted, right?
No, what
all over
where
her.
was Gaston? Was he talking to
He
you
was,
guys?
like he came and went, whatever, but he was there.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But then basically you were like, okay, like let's go over there, and she waved over in her husband and I's direction. But because you and I have not done anything since then, I assumed that I was not invited on your end, and she waved, and I assumed for the husband, and then like I pretty much just chilled watching nearby.
Got it. Right on.
And then after she was like, "No, dummy, you were supposed to come over too."
Totally.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted me over there.
Now that you see her, now that you and I have slept together, and now we've all slept together, you've hit all the. You've actually.
Oh, am I? Do I qualify?
Now you've ticked off 3 out of the 5 boxes.
Okay, what are the other 2 boxes I gotta do?
Now that I think
Just
about it.
give me homework. I will.
Now
do
I'm thinking about it.
thing.
Okay, so you're right. So no, now that so
I pretty much watched you two do the swap, but the entire time, like she was making eye contact with me here and there, and like I was just pretty much just waiting for this because like I was fine, just kind of hanging tight.
Yeah,
like I
would be
was
like, Billy, come here.
I would have loved to watch and jerk off next to y'all.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the weird thing about being a single dude at a play party. Especially when you don't have abs, okay? This is because if I have abs, I guarantee you I could do almost whatever I want.
Got it.
Okay, you do not. If you wanted to just jerk off at a party, no one's really gonna care.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna encourage you and
Totally.
say, "Go, girl."
Yeah.
Me, if I'm just jerking off, like people are like, I guess he's allowed to, but we should keep an eye on him. And it's like, so like I'm, not far. I'm probably like 4 feet, not even away from y'all. And I like kind of casually have my dick out. I'm like more like holding it, keeping it weighty versus actively stroking it.
Keeping it weighty.
Yeah, I'm like keeping blood in it, but
Yeah,
like,
totally.
and I didn't want to just jerk it because I thought people would, here's how much I care what people think about me. I was worried about other people seeing me jerk off looking at y'all, even though I know y'all are fine with me watching. I know this. They don't. And I don't feel like people going, man, Prasita's just jerking it at the party, like uncomfortably. We should put a report in. So I would have rather been closer to y'all, not necessarily just because I'm like, I want in on this action.
Yeah.
More like I wanted a safe space to jerk off to.
I could have
y'all
grabbed
fucking.
your ankle.
Yeah, no, I mean, but honestly, that
still would have worked.
that would have been a signal to everyone else.
Totally.
Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing his ankle, just grabbing my ankle. It's like that would have been a sign to everyone that like y'all consented to me watching.
I understand exactly.
But I was being extra cautious.
Next time I know, we'll touch fingers,
or just be like, hey, Billy, come over here, bring some water.
Totally. Yeah. Now that I know, again, yeah, you're right. I was so engulfed because I had not been with.
No one's in trouble, but I'm not like mad at
No,
anybody. But I just
no. I was thinking about it. I had not been. I've been, because the reason I was so excited for that moment because the wife and I had gone out before for her to take photos of me and for work, and her and I got along really well, and I've known her for I think like a year. I think I've known her for about a year. So we clicked right away, and I showed her pictures of Gaston, and I was like, "This is my boyfriend. You want to fuck him?" She's like, "Yes," and I was like, "Yes." And I've always thought her husband was adorable. And so we kind of like...
Yo, you hear that?
Yeah.
You're adorable.
Adorable. And so again, like when the time was right, I was like, hey, are you going to New Year's Eve? And she's like, we are going to New Year's Eve. And so I spoke to Gaston ahead of time and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? And he's like, yeah, man, she's a super hot mom. I was like, yes, nice. You hear that? You're a super hot mom. And yeah, so got there and it was... And I, debriefed with her the next day because it was the first time that Gaston and I have actually been with a couple side by side in a sense where the husband was penetrating me and he was penetrating the wife. That had never happened. Mm-hmm. And the husband was actually the first gentleman that I had slept with since Gaston and I started dating, in May.
Wow.
Yeah. So
okay.
I had not been with another man since I started dating
What
my
about
boyfriend.
the Cali parties?
I didn't sleep with any men there. I was
y'all were just bang women together?
Yeah, because I was not attracted to any of the men there at that time. Yeah. And so that's the thing with me. I really got to be attracted to you. Like, we've really got to have a good vibe or I can't let you just, I can't give you all, like, for me, it's all or nothing. Like, you're either going to fucking eat, birthday cake off my pussy, or like, we're going to have the best like high fives ever, like it's all or nothing.
And that's what, that was the confusion for me with your high fives. Cause I thought that like high fives are typically a sign of friend zone.
Yeah, well, we were just friends.
Right. Well, no, but just the concept of like, even before we fucked, like that's why I was so shocked that even happened. Cause I just assumed you weren't like attracted to me, which was like, that's totally fine. And so that's why when we fucked, I was like, this is the best night ever. She must have forgot she's not into this.
No, that's not it. I just felt really comfortable around you, and that's the thing. It took a while. Like it's all about comfortability. There's some gentlemen that I had instant connection with, and it's not even like the hacienda, but like on a date, like my Egyptian gentleman friend and like this other Romanian friend of mine. Just into connection and just slept together, and we either ended up dating or becoming really good friends. Or there's sometimes I'll like hold off till I feel comfortable, and then I'm like fucking tear it up. Like it's either all or nothing. And so the husband from New Year's Eve was the first gentleman I had been with since Gaston and I started dating in May. And so it was a totally different experience because we literally had the real like swapping, and turns out we pushed her limits to a very comfortable limit, and he enjoyed being with me, and then Gaston and I dominated her, and again like pushed her limits, but
you ran off for Hitachi, I think I remember.
Yeah, and then came back and like which we brought, and it was and then Gaston and I floated off to another section and then made sweet love for like 45 minutes. And I was just like, this is everything I wanted, because it was super moving. It was super moving. But yeah. So next time I know that you're in the room, I'm going to signal you. I'm going to whistle and then look at you in the eye. And then grab your ankle.
Well, also now, and this is the other thing is like, so she had said like, why didn't you just come and ask over? And I like kind of always assume nobody wants me in the thing until I'm like specifically asked, right? So now I know, like now I would be more comfortable to say like, hey, mind if I X, Y, or Z? And then
totally.
So now I will feel more comfortable asking.
Yeah.
And not just like waiting for someone to wait for me.
No, you have full, complete good. And again, I feel so much comfortable that, you and Gaston had met, because now there's no like first time introduction. For me, I don't know. It's just really like, again, I just love like just seeing him with other women. I love, being with other women. I enjoy like being with men with him.
Do you like three ways with him and another guy?
I've yet to have. Yeah, I would. Right, I would love that. I would love to have that. I've yet to have that.
I volunteer.
I
make a lot of notes. Everybody.
I would love to. I'd love to have that, because and there's also too like there's fantasies that I've had that it's just a matter of finding like the right like group of gentlemen, and I've yet like that's why to me they're still fantasies. Could I call up any like 5 of my buddies? Yeah, totally. But for me, I have. And I've only been able to find like four. Like I want to have like a gangbang with like 4 or 5 gentlemen, and I've only been able to like really connect with like 4 that I feel like really would do a good job.
Oh, did I tell you that after our mutual friend who I threw the gangbang for? Because I told you that New Year's Eve.
Totally, right on. Yeah.
Yeah, I threw 2 more like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
For like women on Reddit contacted me because they read the story about that one.
Got it.
And they were like, "Oh my god, that's my biggest fantasy. Can you throw one for me too?" And then I threw 2 more.
How does one throw a gangbang party?
I told you how I threw hers. It was pretty much the exact same way. But now tomorrow I have a meeting with a woman who's going to pay me to throw her one.
Can you help me with mine?
If I get to be involved.
I have a fantasy of having, it's called the Great Britain gangbang. I want to bang an Irish gentleman, a Welsh gentleman, all at the same time, an English gentleman, a Scottish gentleman, all at the same time.
If I can be involved, or if you'll like separately give me some pussy payment where it's like, okay, but like, you have like 30 minutes, we can fuck around.
I was like, I know a Welsh gentleman, I know an English gentleman. If you know a Scotsman and Irishman,
but the thing is, I don't think you would need help organize one because you already kind of know the people, the players involved. I don't know
those 2. I don't know a Scottish gentleman or an Irish gentleman.
Yeah, but like I feel like you can find that in your natural dating or asking around, and I don't think for the actual encounter you really need help. Like these women need help because they didn't know the dudes.
Oh, I understand.
So the whole situation needs like a referee involved, like for safety reasons and all that jazz. And for
I see, a referee involved.
Right.
Wow.
Well, because for 2 of the 3 gangbangs, they were blindfolded, so they needed like a person who's just a base.
Well, how would I supposed to assume that?
Oh, sorry. So I forgot if I told you how hers went, but like for our friends, she was blindfolded, didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
One of them wasn't blindfolded, and that one actually I think went the best because she could see.
Yeah.
Which is key, but also just like we also had like our mutual friend Anna, so she was involved. She fucked her with a strap on. Our buddy Andrew Sparksfire, he came and played in it, which his wife was super thrilled about. She was like, "No, you have to invite him to the gangbang." I was like, "I really want." Okay, but I don't think you need the referee if you know most of the dudes involved. And then if you have 1 or 2 other guys that you're just kind of meeting. Well, like basically the other gentlemen that you already knew become your referees because they know you, they care about you, and they want to keep you safe. Yeah. So if like the Irishman fucks up, like your Scott, whatever, your Welsh buddy or whatever will intervene.
Totally. It's just so funny because when I tell people that, they're like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, man, it's either a Russian hockey team or it's a Great Britain gangbang. And I'm like, that's so ridiculous. I'm
UK gangbang.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
So how did Gaston feel? Like, what was the talk with y'all two like the next day or two after Hacienda? Like, how did he feel about that? Especially since you hadn't fucked another dude.
Yeah.
Since you started.
Ever since you started dating him. Yeah. So I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna reach out to the married couple because I was like, that was a big night for us. I'm like, I've never done that before, babe. He's like, yeah, I know. And then he actually asked me, he goes, does it hurt? Not hurt you. He's like, he's like, you're not mad that I've been with more women than you've been with men, are you? And I'm like, no, honey.
In the relationship, right?
Yeah. I go, no, honey, not at all. I was like, I'm actively saying no because I'm not attracted to them or I'm not feeling the gentleman there at the party anyway. But I really just dig chicks. So, like, no, I don't mind at all. I was like, and again, I love seeing you bang women. Like, it's just, to me, it's just like, go boy, go. Like, I love it. It just, and like, because it's me. I get
only
it.
I could have such a girlfriend.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Like, I own silver. I don't know. And I just like, no, I dig it totally. So we talked about it and then about what we liked and about, about like what we liked and about how we went. He's like, I never imagined. He's like, I never imagined I'd be so public about it. And he goes, I've been public about it on my own turf in the sense where he would like bang girls like on a couch, like in a party in a big room where she's like, you're not going to do it. And he's like, I'll fuck you right here. And she's like, you're not going to do it. And he's like, I'm going to fuck you right here. And then he would like fuck her on a couch, like at like a house college party or some shit. And then people are like, whoa, man, it's gonna sound like fucking that girl over there. But good to going to a place where it's like, no, fuck her on the couch. Like he's like, I never thought I'd do it somewhere where like people were like, no, fuck her on the couch. So he really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. But it was interesting about how we had chose the first location, which was upstairs in the bedroom outside of the kitchen. And we started, having sex there. And he was just like, he's like, I'm not feeling this. I'm really just not feeling this. And I was like, and like, we're still having sex. I'm like, well, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm looking around. I'm like, you mean like having sex? He's like, no, I'm just not feeling this location. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, come on.
Because no one can see him?
No, because there was like a
Are we talking about Kenneth's room?
Yes, Kenneth's room.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can say Kenneth.
Oh, got it. Yeah, sorry. Kenneth's room. And because there was people around us and it was our first time ever having sex publicly like that at a party. We did it in California, but this is, at a big, big party. So he was just like, I don't know, I'm not feeling the space. And I'm like, okay. So it's very interesting for me to be like, whoa, like that. I liked that. The fact that it was his first big play party and he could still tell when it was not the right place to be at right there, rather than just go along with it, being like, oh, okay. He's like, nah, I think I want to go downstairs and fuck you. And I'm like, okay, man, let's do this.
And that's dope because then you can trust him to like advocate for himself, which isn't always like what we think about with dudes. Like we don't usually like worry, quote unquote, about like a man speaking up when he's uncomfortable in a sexual situation. But I mean, at least for me, that's super awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, and it's a sign of a good partner for me when like I'm with a woman who like speaks up, or like even at the gangbang, like the first of the 2 gangbangs the other weekend is like she spoke up in the middle and she was like, hey, can this one please get some lube?
Yeah.
So she was like, hey, I just need a quick pause. And we're like, hey, what do you need? And this was a gentleman with like a particularly larger cock.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just think that, do we have any lube? I think this one needs lube. And so we're like, cool. And so that allowed me to trust her the rest of the gangbang because I know she's going to speak up because she just did it here.
Got it.
I know that if she needs a new position or if she's uncomfortable, so I don't have to like be super hawkish. I can kind of trust her to speak up. And so that's kind of cool like that, like, oh, this guy's clearly not just going to do stuff to do it. He's going to speak up if he really doesn't want to.
And I wasn't expecting that. I was like, hey, come on, how about we go here? And he was like, okay. And then after seriously like a few pumps, he was like, I'm not really feeling the vibe in this room. And I was like, okay, what is it? You don't like the curtains? Like, what the fuck, And he's like, no, like, he's like, no, I'm feeling the vibe in this room. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's weird because Kemp's room's a super well decorated room.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
no, it was just like, I think it was, I don't know, like he said it was, too many people for him to really, I guess, like get into it for the first time, the first go. And I'm like, no, wait, like, dude, I'm like, that's how it was. So he's like, all right. So we went downstairs, and as we went downstairs, we just so happened to run into the married couple. So maybe it was a sign.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that was New Year's Eve.
How did you two meet anyway?
We met in real life. We met at a restaurant, like not on the internet. We met in real life, and he was sitting at the bar at a restaurant. He doesn't drink anymore, so he was just like eating. And my friend was working for him that day because he's also in events. And she was like, "Oh, that's my boss." And I'm like, "Who the hell is that?" And she's like, "Oh, that's my boss."
That's Gaston.
Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like,
"He's got ass."
Yeah, seriously. She's like, "Oh, that's my boss." And I was like, "Oh my God, he's hot." And she's like, I was like, does he have a girlfriend? And she goes to me, she's like, I don't know, let's ask. And she turns to him and she's like, Gaston. And I was like, no. Hi. I'm Nicolette. And I was just like, no, I was like hitting her leg.
It's like, don't fuck this up.
Nope, don't fuck this up. So we met in real life, and I asked him, he asked me if I wanted to join him the next weekend at one of his events. And I said yes. And then when I went to go meet him, he thought it was a business meeting because I was working in and he was working in. So when I asked him out to dinner, he thought it was a business meeting. And I was like, no, you fucker. I just wanted to have sex with you. But I'm like, no, he was so oblivious to the fact that like I had
Everyone remember, sexual but not promiscuous.
Yeah.
Like aggressively sexual but not promiscuous.
Like I had moved to California, and I had only been there for about maybe a month and a half, and I had slept with only one gentleman because I just, again, like even though I was getting knocked on the door, just wasn't feeling it. So I only had been with one gentleman at that time. I had sex for like, a couple weeks, God knows when again. And I approached him at the bar. I gave him my phone number. He asked me out. I followed up, and I wore this amazing dress. We went to the Polo Club in the Beverly Hills Hotel. We had this gorgeous dinner, and then I took us to the Chateau Marmont, and we had champagne there. And then I took us to the Dresden, which is one of the restaurants and bars in one of my favorite movies, Swingers, with Vince Vaughn. And we saw old like 60s kind of jazz, which I adore. And then we went back to his place, and I was like, I can't believe it. I'm going to want to have sex with this guy. And he started giving me a back rub because I was like, oh, I totally want this. And I'll never forget, and he can attest to this. He was giving me a back rub, and I took his hand and I put it around my neck.
Good girl.
And he goes, "Oh, you're one of you're one of those kind of girls, huh?" And I went, "Uh-huh." And then he just fucking like, like literally all fucking of his ox weight into my, and that's when I was like, yeah. So in real life, so the whole, like, there was no internet stalking ahead of time. It was literally, I walked up to him and I said like, "Hi."
I mean, all of my best relationships or situations have been the in-person ones. It's not that the online ones can't go well.
Oh, of
just
course.
Me personally, my history.
Yeah.
Like my last two girlfriends, like the last ex I met at a poly movie night.
Cool.
And I thought they were a total lesbian, so I didn't even try. I just treated them like a person. I was like, I'm not going to try to have sex with the lesbian. That's they don't want to. Turned out that they totally dig dicks. So
yeah, surprise.
Or my ex, P, that I'm pretty sure you met her, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I met her at Hacienda. She just like flagged me down. She's like, "Hi, you look like someone I know."
Totally.
Or even more recently, there was like a woman at a bar who I got super smitten super early, and then she was like, my boyfriend and I are closing the relationship again because he's got to deal with stuff. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But like, she flagged me down at a bar because of the shirt I was wearing. I was wearing my merch shirt, everyone. I was wearing, my shirt that says I'm saving pegging for marriage.
I love that shirt.
If you don't think it's a good shirt to have, hey, it gets you attention at a bar, and I got a super hot woman's number.
I love it.
Like, or even Emily, who people have heard on the podcast. She was on the live show from ManWhoreCon. That was my physical trainer. Physical therapist.
Cool.
So it's like all my best encounters have been people from the real world.
And because there's no anticipation or again like research or stalking or anything like that. It's literally it's like improv. You're like, hi, I'm Nicolette. Oh, hey, I'm Gaston. Hey, so what do you do? Like, there's no, I saw on your post that, I looked through your Instagram, it looks, you like cars, huh? There was none of that. It was like, and go. Like, okay, hey. And it was really organic. It was really, really organic. And it wasn't until, I knew that he was really special when I know it sounds really special, for my birthday, we were in LA and he took me to see Paul Simon and the second row back.
You're secretly 60 years old. You do
yeah,
know
I know
that, right?
I know. Jazz, cocktails, like dark mahogany.
You like these like
books.
random, like really hoity-toity, high class. That was one of the reasons I was like, I mean, I would love to date her, but also I don't think she would ever date me because I am poor and can't afford this lifestyle. But sorry, you were saying.
No, it's not like, but it was, I know, like, okay, I love Paul Simon. The Graduate, Simon and Garfunkel. So, getting stoned, Bleecker Street. Anyway, so, so I knew at that concert because I was like, holy shit, like it was just this vibe, but have all of that in real life and someone plan a date without having done like any research and just, like on me to go again. I've gone through your Facebook. I've gone through your Instagram. It was just like, hey, we've hung out 3 times, 4 times. I've listened to you and I really like you, like we did no social media. He's actually not even on Facebook. He's only on Instagram. So we didn't know, no joke, like, or on Twitter. We only did.
Rest in peace, my Instagram.
Yeah. So we only, it was just like, it was like 1950s dating where like he called me on the phone and he was like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. It seriously was like, cool. And I think because it was so organic. And yeah.
But it's also the most terrifying way to meet people because like when you meet people on the internet, there's an attraction because like if you match on Tinder, like, the intention of that app is, or a dating site is, I am into you. I at least am attracted to you physically or something from your thing. Like that, that you're starting with this person. I have a chance. Really, any women I've met at bars.
They've all come up to you?
They've all
I was just going to say, they've all come. I was just going to say, well, honey, I came up to him. That's the thing. I came up to him. I fucking did all the work. That's why he thought it was business at first because he was like, oh, well, like a woman's never pursued me like that. I'm like, I want your dick in my mouth. Like you fucking like, come on.
That's
like
the best opener, everybody. If you're interested, I just say, if you ever see me at a bar, just come up to me and say like, I want your dick in my mouth. And we could still date seriously, but that will let me know what type of lady you are.
Like,
and that's my type of girl.
It took me the entire date and I was very demure and very ladylike. And then when he asked me if I wanted to go back, I was just like, sure, absolutely.
So you put his hand
around my
neck
and he goes,
fucking kinky psycho bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's like, oh, you're one of those type of girls, huh? And I was like, uh-huh. And it was just like, that's like the chemistry and the whole thing, like the fact that he he saw me, like, I know it sounds funny, but he saw me as a man coming in thinking it was business. And then throughout the evening, he was like, I think she's hitting on me.
I think she has a pussy.
I think she's pussy. I think she's hitting on me because I was like, I just moved here and, X, Y, and Z, we do the same thing. Blah, 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 blah. And then he was like, okay. And he, paid and everything like that. And then we, went to these 2 different places for drinks. And he goes to me like, that he just knew. And I was like, okay. And then we woke up in the morning, he looked down, he was like, I'm very happy with my decision.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, nice.
But again, that whole meeting in person thing involves so much potential rejection. That's why, like, although I enjoy meeting it the most, I enjoy meeting that way the most. It is also the most terrifying way for me to meet people because, again, you don't have that baseline. This person's interested.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're available.
Totally. You don't know if they're crazy.
You don't even know if they're you don't know if crazy, but you also don't know if they're into your gender or your genitals. Like you know nothing.
I know.
All you know is you are intrigued and you would like to learn more.
I know.
But also it's like,
and in an age of instant gratification, I found that very refreshing about our interaction because I was like, oh my God, yeah, like all I had was a phone number in my phone and that was it. And like his name, obviously, but I didn't do any hunting because I was like, no, like there was no, I don't know. I just didn't.
You could have gone to that event that he thought was a business joint and you could have been like hitting on him and it could have ended with him being like, oh, no, thank you. I have a monogamous girlfriend. Oh, no, thank you. I'm not into you. Oh, no, thank you. I just like dudes. Like, you don't know. And you have to put in this like time commitment.
Yeah.
Whereas normally we're into putting in like battery life commitment.
Yeah. I mean, at least we'd, get a drink out of it. I figured that was a thing. Cause I remember getting ready being like, I want to fuck this dude. And like, I was like,
that's the confidence of a hot woman.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to fuck this dude. Yeah. Like as I was getting ready and then just the whole way up. And now I remember he looked at me and he was like, wow, you look great. And I'm like, thank you. And that's like afterwards, whenever I was like, let's go and have another drink. That's when he started putting two together that I was not there to do business.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, are you serious? Yep. So
that's how the Emily physical therapist person was. Like we went out she asked if I wanted to go out to get a drink. I was her client presently.
There you go.
At the time. And so I just thought like, oh, we're two sex positive people who like have mutual interests and like we both live in Brooklyn. So let's just, and I didn't like, I'm actually that much of an idiot that I went there and she's like in a hot looking outfit. And I genuinely did not know she was interested in me until we were pretty much at a point where we're going to make out. Like that's just how much of a dummy I am.
Yeah, no, I understand, but
that comes from a place of trying to be respectful.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like I found that I halfway through I was like, oh my God, because he wasn't asking questions about me. He was asking questions about work, and that's when I was like, this motherfucker thinks that here I'm to trade business cards.
How'd you pivot? How'd you make the pivot?
When he said he didn't drink and he didn't do drugs anymore. And I was like, ooh, why is that? And then he was like, he's like, I partied and had a great time in my 20s. And he's like, I'm 31. He's like, no big deal. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, so then what's your outlet? And he's like, fucking. And I was like, hi.
I think that's when I'm sorry. I think you misremember this whole evening. I think he knew exactly what was happening. And that's when he pivoted the conversation. Yes, right, I don't think you pivoted shit.
Well, but that's when I had to lean into that more because I was just like, he's like fucking, like crazy rough kinky sex. But he didn't look at me when he said that. Like he's like fucking, crazy rough kinky sex. And I was like, really? And it was interesting because my heart went when he said, I don't drink or do drugs. At first I went, oh shit. But that's when he was like, sex, kinky, rough sex. I was like, what? Like I just went right back into the conversation. And it has been not at all a problem, dating someone that doesn't drink or doesn't do drugs anymore. Because like the other thing that really, gets me hot besides like a nice glass of wine is hot, kinky, aggressive sex.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna write down that note. Wait, I already knew that one.
Yeah, I already knew that one.
Yeah, that was also the thing about like about fucking you was I knew that and I was like, this is your shot.
Yeah.
Get as rough as you can, Billy, because like this is your chance. This is your audition.
That's it. Yeah, that's the thing about me is that I enjoy being super feminine, ladylike, on the outside, and very conservative and lovely, but yet like again.
But it's just what I'm trying to say is it's an intimidating thing when you're a dude who is not naturally dominant. Like I can get dominant when I know that's what she likes. When you're not naturally dominant and you're a dude and that's what she wants and it's the first time getting with her, it's like it was a little nerve-wracking for me because I'm like, I hope I'm doing this right.
Eat my pussy, Billy.
Honestly, yeah. So it's
do it.
Yeah.
Is this hard enough for you, miss? Is this hard enough for you, miss?
Oh yeah. That's I actually have that tattooed on my thigh.
Are you hard enough?
Oh yeah. Oh, Nicolette. Well, I'm glad we could kind of get through that.
Totally.
I'm glad it's not because you thought I was like gross and ugly and just rather
no, not at all.
The combination of bad timing and not the all 5 boxes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But next little orgy pile, like I will be less shy about coming through.
Absolutely. Yeah, seriously. For like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wait, yeah, of course, because that's everything I said before. It's like, you know, you and I have already been intimate. I'm totally comfortable with you. You know, I'm, you know, secure. I'm emotionally secure in my relationship. So, yeah, we come over and, you know, you and Gaston had already met, and that allows.
I think he likes me.
Totally. No, I said so. I was like, hey, I'm going to do Billy's show tonight. He was like, cool. Like, somebody said hi. I'm like, awesome. So, oh yeah, no, he'll be at the Super Bowl party. So even better. Yep. There you go. And, but I don't think I told you though. I tell you he's a Patriots fan. Oh, I know. 17 years in New England.
Don't know why.
I know. Can you believe that? But originally from Philadelphia. So I'm fucking Philadelphia colonial.
You can't wash that jersey scent off. You just can't. But yeah, we'll do that. And hey, you know, like I've got a tongue, I've got hands, I got a cock, I've got the ability to get water. I'm a multi-purpose whore. I just like being involved.
Awesome. Well, high five. We'll get it done.
Yeah. Well, Nicolette, why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Au revoir.
I started trying to be like, and where can people find you? But I forgot. Oh yeah, this isn't one of those episodes. There's no plugs.
Oh no.
I like to think that was a fun one, right? Yeah, we haven't heard one of my ex-partners in a bit, so I'm glad I could finally deliver unto you one of them. If you enjoyed this one, you know, let me know. Give me a shout out on Twitter, Facebook. I am at the Billy Proceder on Twitter. You can tag the Man Whore Podcast on Facebook. Let us know what you thought about this week's show. And if you want to say something a little longer privately via email, you can email me at manwhorepod@gmail.com. I hope you will also go check out and follow Eitan Levine, my guest co-host of this week's intro. If you want to hear the full bonus episode with Eitan, that is already now available to all of my $10 and up fan whores on Patreon. To become a member, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Oh, Tour de Man Whore. You want me to come through to your city? You want me to get on my little bicycle with where instead of a seat, there's just a butt plug? You want me to get on that and come to you? Truth be told, I'm probably going to get on either a plane or in a car, but, you know, you get the idea. Tour de Man Whore. Coming to a city near you, I hope. Help activate your city so you get your very own Man Whore Podcast live show experience by getting a ticket at manwhorepod.com/tour. Shout out to some of the ticket leaders right now. You know, Detroit, Miami, Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., San Francisco. All right, some of y'all are leading in the score right now. Memphis, very shortly behind there, you know. Who else we got? We got Philly, Toronto, Atlanta, Vancouver, bunch of cities on here. If you want me to come to you, we're going to have to reach 20 tickets, so go get yours at manwhorepod.com/tour. Next week, we've got Mandy B, a fellow sex podcaster. She does a show called the Horrible Decisions podcast. Horrible, obviously spelled with a whore. So go check out her show in the meantime, but that's going to be a fun episode. I may or may not have a squirting product recommendation for you next week. So until I get the make and model of that product down properly, just lay down some towels and stay slutty.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That is a good way to get the ambient noise out.